Hello and welcome. I'm Giovanni Hall Art. As you can see in the far right hand corner, I made a PNG tuber. Just debuted it. Yeah, I'm Giovanni Hall Art. And today I will be doing some fan art for Dandadan, the infamous episode 9. Yes, this will be a chill session. I'm a little bit under the weather, so bear with me. The limited microphone action. But yeah, let's get into it. Links are in the bio. And also be watching a podcast by Stephanie Sue. Alright, let's go.
Make sure to stay tuned for a little spicy surprise.
Quack quack.
Do you guys remember the Carla Panini case?
Oh yeah, you have a whole TikTok about.
La muchacha esa, la coreana, dice bastantes cosas que ni son ciertas.
I'm so traumatized about this case, okay? The story goes like this, if you guys are not caught up. Carla Luna, who we're gonna just call Luna, and Carla Panini are best friends. They're also co-stars on this big comedy show in Mexico. And in 2010, Luna gets diagnosed with cervical cancer. She is leaning on her husband, on her best friend, Panini, not knowing that her husband is cheating on her with Panini while she's getting treated for cancer. The worst part is, if you can even believe it gets worse, it does, is that Luna is telling Panini about her concerns about her husband being faithful in the marriage, and Panini is just like, no, don't even think about that. Don't even focus on that right now. Focus on you. Text messages later get revealed of Panini telling Luna's husband to leave Luna because she's no longer beautiful. I mean, she's basically doing everything that you would imagine the devil reincarnated would do. That is a personal opinion of mine. I will say she is one of the most hated women in all of Mexico, according to multiple articles and internet forums. And after Luna passes from cancer in 2017, Panini and Luna's ex-husband, they get married. I did a whole mods on this. I mean, it's the real life case of Marry My Husband, the K-drama. And Panini, Miss Panini, Mrs. Panini, I guess, she saw it and went off on me on Instagram. I had to get it translated, okay? I'm gonna put the video of her going off on us, and it was a very interesting experience. So I thought, okay, that Panini chapter of mine is pressed. It's closed. We're not coming back to this, right? Panini tried to Panini press me. It was messy. I persevered. I'm Google translating articles about me where a lot of Spanish speaking mainstream media was like, there's this like random Korean girl that made Panini go viral in Korea. And I was like, I am American, but that's okay. She kept calling me the Korean. It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing, okay? And our Spanish translator, I love you if you're watching this, she was like, yeah, that was kind of like bad, right? Well, there's another one. Huh? Like, excuse me? Yeah, she sends me this whole TikTok of a girl who runs into Panini. This is like a random netizen. She runs into Carla Panini and she takes a video with her and she asks her on the video, how do you feel about Angela Aguilar dethroning you? Panini says, look, Angela Aguilar is too young. She's lacking the experience.
Dethroning what's the throne?
Stealing a husband. Yeah. And I was like, what do you mean it's happening again? But it is happening again. At least that's what people online are saying. But you tell me, this is the new Carla Panini case. Or at least that's what people are saying. There is so much going on in this story, and one of the best ways to clear one's mind is to take your own pleasure into your own hands. Just listen. If you're above the age of 18, just listen, because there is nothing like having the clarity of a little self-care session. I feel like I could find out how to get to Jupiter before the aerospace engineers can figure it out right after I have a little self-care session. I'm like, I could honestly do anything in this world. In fact, I think I've been to Jupiter using BB Outlet. Today is a special, beautiful day because we are partnering with BB Outlet by Bellesa to make pleasure accessible for everyone. Make sure to keep listening and I will show you exactly Well, I'm not going to show you that. I will show you exactly how you can claim your free personal device as a part of BB Outlet and Mott's giveaway. B Boutique offers luxury pleasure products at luxury price points. I think it's a great gift if you guys are in relationships or even to spoil yourself, right? But Lessa gets it though, that these premium level products aren't necessarily accessible to everyone, which is why they've launched BB Outlet. BB Outlet features a massive catalog of all your favorite toys at a fraction of industry standard prices with the same high quality, body safe materials. BB Outlet's extremely cute and discreet. They have these quiet devices that are fantastic for personal play, but they can also be great additions to partnered experiences. There's one that's shaped like a little nail polish bottle. Do not be fooled. The Rose toy walked so that this little BB polish could run. The power on the suction device deserves a spot in your bedside drawer forever. It's mini, rechargeable, waterproof. It has 5 different speeds, all for $24.99.
I was not expecting this commercial.
The next one is ergonomically my favorite. No aching hands or having to hold it in place because the BB Palm Pilot features a hand strap that fits perfectly in your palm. It's like a makeup sponge. You just have to keep your hand flat. No need to grip it, hold anything, because sometimes you can't. You gotta focus. Not only is it accessibly priced at $21.99, it's also accessible to people who may have limited hand dexterity or trouble with fine motor skills. I'm excited to share that in honor of embracing our bodies, prioritizing our pleasure, and if you're curious about exploring your own pleasure or looking to add some spark into your intimate life, BB Outlet and I are giving away free toys to absolutely everyone. Just click the link in my description box to claim your free vibrator. You won't regret it. And thank you, BB Outlet, for sponsoring today's video, and let's get into it. I do want to just do a quick disclaimer because I'm scared. I did try to gather as much information as I could from all the different perspectives, but most of the research for this was done by our Spanish-speaking researchers. I love them, okay? We tried our best, all of us, to leave our opinions out of it and just present you guys with the different netizen reactions. But as always, feel free to let us know if you felt something was mistranslated, miscommunicated, or if you have any additional information. Let us know in the comments. With that being said, let's just start.
Crazy.
Christian Nodal. I'm gonna call him Christian, okay? He's kind of like the Bruno Mars of Mexico. I mean, I don't know if there's a one-size-fits-all comparison for anyone, but Christian is a Mexican artist that there's no way to really describe him. Really. I've never seen someone so fascinating. Scandal aside, his whole persona is interesting. He is a Mexican singer, songwriter, artist who has face tattoos, wears a cowboy hat, and then takes traditional regional mariachi music, Mexican music, regional music, and makes it so modern and consumable for the younger audience. And I say that with like the highest compliments that he is a fascinating person. I don't say that in a weird way. It's like fusion music and it's addicting. I don't speak Spanish. I don't know what this man is singing, but I am bopping. I'm having a good time. He's also really good live. I would say Bruno Mars, Billie Eilish, like Ariana Grande level. His voice is buttery. And his whole come up story is actually kind of wholesome. He lived with his grandparents and his mom has epilepsy. He was always alone, so he's like learning how to use these instruments. And then his grandfather taught him poetry. So he's musically talented. He knows poetry. He's very artistically strong. You know what? I'm going to call him Justin Bieber of Mexico. Because I do see that comparison a lot. I didn't know if I wanted to make the comparison, but I see netizens always say, like, if you need to understand him, the best comparison is Justin Bieber. Because he wrote his first song when he was 13. He did, I think, his first cover of a song, and he merged a very popular song into the mariachi style. That went viral. So I guess that's why the comparison is there. He's young, he's really talented, he goes viral, and it's like a storm. He starts getting invited to all these interviews. That song, his first cover song, I think has like 1.5 billion views now. Well, people actually credit him. In the Latin music world, they say that he is the person that made being Mexican cool again.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like, you know how K-pop is credited for like making Korean cool again, being Korean cool. Yeah, he's acknowledged by Harvard for his cultural impact. This is how big this guy is.
Wow.
Now, Angela Aguilar is another big figure in the music scene. She comes from this celebrity dynasty of musicians, actors, actresses. She's a Nepo baby ×2, a Nepo baby. Prior to all of this, most people didn't even really hate that about her though. She's a nepo baby, but she's very well spoken and she's very hardworking. Her parents don't spoil her. They teach her the essence of hard work. She's very respectful and humble. And people thought, wow, and she's also kind of a good singer. Side note, her dad, this is all very important. Her dad is Pepe Aguilar. He's a 4-time Grammy winner. Her grandparents are super famous. Whoa. So the way that our Spanish researchers were trying to explain to me was like, you could meet anyone in Mexico and they at least know one person in the dynasty. So if you're like talking to an older grandmother, they're like, oh, I know her grandparents.
Wow.
So it's like everyone in Mexico has grown up with this family.
Right.
So her grandmother was one of the most successful singers. Her grandfather was an incredible actor. I think he was in over like 100 different films. People compare them to the Kardashians of Mexico, but I don't really think so. I will say the Aguilar family is relatively all across the board very well liked. The Kardashians are, regardless if you love them or hate them, they're very divisive, right? Yeah. Aguilars, people love them. People freaking love them. And it's not even just this family, like all their nieces, all their cousins, they're all in the industry somehow. It's just, okay, so Pepe Aguilar is known for his ranchera music and also his mariachi music. And Angela Aguilar is obviously influenced by her whole family being in the music industry. She ends up singing, getting a career, collaborating with the biggest artist at the time, Christian Nodal. They had a song in 2020. Their song translates to Tell Me How You Want It. And it's a really good song, by the way. It's like a cute song about a guy trying to win a girl over and she's not having it. She sings to him, I'll tell you right now, those sweet words alone aren't enough to win me over. I'm not one of those easy girls, which, you know what, kind of mean, but it's okay. You know, like those other girls I always see you with. And he's like singing to her, I'm not as bad as people say I am. For you, I'd do anything. So it's a good song. It ends up debuting number 89 at the Billboard Global 200 chart, which is crazy. I think Christian was 21 at the time and Angela was 17. This is in 2020.
Whoa, they're very young.
So young. So right now they're 21 and 25 now, but they've actually known each other since like 2018. So they've known each other for 2 years, released the song, and then recently, a few months ago, they're all over the news again. Okay, so they released the song in 2020. News everywhere. People are like, have you seen these two artists collabing? Like I think they were the first Mexican artists to debut so high in the Billboard 200 global. So they're like, oh my God, it's crazy. The buzz dies down. From 2020 to 2024, they would randomly kind of sing at each other's concerts here and there, but there's no news. It's nothing to be talked about, right? Until July 25th, 2024, just a few months ago, Christian and Angela get paparazzi'd outside of a wedding venue. And Angela is wearing white.
It's her wedding?
Because, I mean, why else would you? It would be very rude if not. It would be a different type of scandal if she showed up to somebody else's wedding in white.
Did it look like a wedding dress or?
It looked like a rehearsal pantsuit. Like she's getting, this is her event and she's doing the whole 9 yards here. The pictures and videos of them start circulating. Now, unless Angela was told by the bride to wear white that day, or she is the bride. And people are running with it. And they're like, this is crazy because not only is this Mexican music royalty, the Aguilar family, getting married, maybe, and she's quite young, she's 21, and Christian is 25. But aside from that, the two of them just announced they were dating a month ago.
Oh, okay.
So they announced they're dating a month before. So like June. Get caught in a wedding venue the next month. People are thinking, that is awfully quick. That doesn't even make sense. So the day after all this news goes viral, Christian and Angela both come online to confirm, you know what, guys? You're right. We did get married.
Whoa.
And this is the wedding of the year in Mexico. People are going crazy. Angela's dad, the music legend, is posting about it on Instagram. Everybody is talking about it. It is insane. There are rumors that Christian got Angela a ring that's valued at $3 million. The wedding pictures are stunning, but nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about the ring. Nobody cares about the pictures. Everyone just wants to know, hey, is the prenup real? There is a rumor that Pepe, Angela's dad, asked Christian to sign a prenup. That is not the craziest thing, considering her family seems to have generational wealth. But that's not the part of the prenup that people are going crazy over, which again, I don't know if this is even true. It's probably just a rumor. But the rumor is Pepe had Christian sign a contract that says, one, that in the first 3 years of marriage, if I cheat on your daughter, I will pay her $12 million in cash.
What?
Wow.
Sometimes there are cheating clauses in prenups. There are. But this is wild. There's 12 million reasons why you might want him to kind of cheat on you. I'm just kidding, okay? But like one netizen comments, I'd be checking that phone every day. If that prenup is real, I'd be checking that phone I would probably download Hinge myself on that phone. I'd be tempting him all day. But others are more pessimistic about the whole thing, writing, the fact that the prenup only says first 3 years, like they know it's not gonna work out.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, huh?
Yeah.
3 years?
Yeah. Another netizen comments, I know bro got that 12 million set aside. Which
Stop.
which is crazy.
Stop.
Now again, I don't think this contract is real, but why are netizens so adamant that he's going to cheat on her?
That's
It
kinda
might have
weird.
to do with Christian's dating history and the fact that he might have left his girlfriend and the mother of his child to date and marry Angela, which is why they're now calling her Angela Panini. Because these two people are famous musicians, so the scale of this scandal is even larger than Panini's. Christian's first public dating relationship was with a fellow singer named Belinda. They were actually one of the most popular couples at the time. She is a beautiful Spanish Mexican singer and actress who started acting when she was 10. And it was a whole controversy because they started dating in 2020, the same year that the song came out with Angela. Yeah, I know, we're gonna come back to it. Remember Belinda, remember the timeline, because we're gonna come back to it. They started dating in 2020, and it was a bit of a controversy because she was 31 and he was 21 at the time. So they started dating after singing together at an awards show. And in 2021, they announced that they're getting engaged.
Whoa.
Multi-million-dollar ring. He's just spending 7-8 figures on jewelry right now. He's crazy. Okay. Shortly after they get engaged, Belinda starts showing up to events without her engagement ring. Now people are intrigued. They're just eyes on this. February 2022, Christian announces the whole breakup on Instagram. He says, to all my friends and family and all my fans, I want to share that Belinda and I have decided to end our engagement and our relationship. And it's like this whole PR statement of why we respect each other, but it's just not going to work out. And everybody's confused because they were always such a lovey-dovey couple, but it's not our business. They delete all their photos with each other. And that same year, Christian meets an Argentinian rapper named Kazu. That's her stage name. Her real name is Julieta. She's actually collaborated with Bad Bunny and a bunch of other famous artists. She's really talented. I like her music. Kazu and Christian get spotted out together 2022. Okay, so you gotta follow this timeline. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got
you just have to, right?
Belinda, then Kazu.
Yes, and there are rumors that they're dating. They're spotted holding hands.
Yes.
Until November 2022, they become public. They go public. Now, of course, people, they think it's a little bit of drama because they're like, wait, I feel like you and Belinda just broke up and we were so attached to you guys and now you're dating Kazu. But it's fine because they were just like they look like the perfect, the way it's described, goth vampire couple. They both have like that sultry, sexy look with the tattoos and like the dark hair, and they just look hot.
Okay.
What do you mean, oof? So they announced their relationship November 2022. April 2023, Kazu is performing.
That is crazy. Yeah, so again, I'm Giovanni Hall Art. Just go with this skit.
It's so good. She walks onto stage, full
Art
fur
just mattered
coat.
to you
April
guys. Hello,
2023.
how are you?
I'm like, April,
What's
fur
up?
coat. She slowly takes it off and she asks the audience, don't you think I'm singing better? It's like, I feel like there are two of us singing now. And she's got a baby
Oh
bump.
my god.
She's got this bump. She's
That's crazy.
pregnant. And Christian announces it at his own concert. And it's like the cutest moment. Christian's mom, who is basically his manager, that allegedly did not like his relationship with Belinda because of the age gap, is so excited to be a grandma. She's constantly posting about Kazu, constantly posting about their family, you know, all of this. She's just waiting until that baby is born. She's waiting for them to be parents. And it just seems like the perfect relationship. He even made a song titled... The translation is a play on words, casualties, but with Kazu's name, like casualties, right? It's a very romantic track of just how much he loves her. And some of the lyrics include, a night of passion leads to a life of desires. I may not be Romeo, but I want my Julieta, because that's her real name. And it's like really cute. Anyway. I mean, the rest of the lyrics are really romantic. He's saying things like, the sad part is when I wake up and she's only in my thoughts. If I'm smiling, it's because of you. You're better than what I thought I deserved. It's not even a song that's like, girly pop, you're so hot. It's dripping with love. That same month, Kazu gives birth to their baby girl, who they name after the god of sun, because the day Christian asked Kazu to be his girlfriend was the day of the summer solstice. It's actually very romantic anyway. And these two are going on these press tours talking about their little daughter, and both of them just have little hearts in their eyes, and they're so excited, and all the fans are going crazy until randomly people start posting these comments on Kazu's Instagram saying things like, your baby is beautiful, but it's so clear Christian doesn't love her.
Oh, I thought they were going to say, but clearly it doesn't like it.
No. But like saying that Christian doesn't love Kazu, which is like very rude. And a lot of netizens are fighting in the comments. Like, what compelled you to say that? Like, that is crazy to say in somebody's comments on their family photos.
Wait, when was that? When the kid was born?
Yeah, so around September 2023. He gets married to Angela July 2024. Timeline's getting crazy. Getting crazier and crazier and shorter, right? And then early 2024, Kazu starts deleting all of her Instagram pictures. And people are like, okay, this is either some sort of album promo or some shit's going down behind the scenes and it's all about to come out. Now, here's the thing with Christian. People either love this man and they love his music and they don't really care about his personal life. Or people are like, you know, he's talented, but it is so clear he's a walking red flag. In fact, he does have red flags tattooed onto his nose. It's not the dating red flag. It's actually a really cool tattoo. But one comment reads, didn't you guys see the red flags? You can't say he didn't warn you. Yeah.
He has a red flag on his nose?
No, I think it's like a cultural thing.
So it's a design.
It's a really cool design, but a little ironic. Once I read that netizen comment, I was like, wait a minute, that is interesting. Okay. Now the timelines are so close. People are so confused. They start deleting photos of each other. They announce a breakup, and then a few weeks later, he marries Angela. In 2024.
Whoa. So that came out of nowhere, the marriage?
Out of nowhere.
Okay. Well,
out of nowhere. So people are really startled by this and they're confused. Was there cheating? Was there not cheating? Even if there is no cheating, I mean, Christian just had a daughter with Kazu. So what's going on? Netizens start digging up things and they feel like this whole thing is very alarming. In fact, there's this one clip that's going viral of Angela. She's literally fangirling over Kazu and Christian. She's seemingly extremely happy about the pregnancy news. A journalist comes up to her and is like, oh my God, Christian is going to be a dad. Yes, I've already sent him a message. I mean, not to Christian, to Kazu. I wrote it in a comment, but how beautiful. You know, I was scrolling on TikTok and suddenly I saw a video of Kazu where she was showing her bump and I was like, oh, I'm going to be an auntie.
Huh. Okay.
But then they announced their breakup while Christian and Angela are soft launching their relationship. And now people are like, what the fuck's going on? And all the comments on Kazu's Instagram now read, you've already won. The red flags were always there with that narcissist, but you're winning, girl. We love you always. I love you without even knowing you in real life. You inspire me. You are the queen. Don't ever give up.
So nobody knows what's happening. All they see is like break up, married, like, and here's a baby. Like,
yeah, but this one, it's like, I think a lot of people feel a lot more sympathy for Kazu because even without knowing what happened, even without knowing if it was all mutually done, they have a child. She just gave birth a few months ago. So it's really rough. And also doesn't help that one day after announcing his breakup with Kazu, Christian invites Angela on stage at his show. And they're acting so intimate, just so smiley, so lovey-dovey. They're holding hands. They're hugging each other. Like, sir, it's been one day. It's been 24 hours.
Yes.
I don't even think it was a business day. I think it was the weekend. Not even a full business day.
That's crazy.
And then the day after that, Kazu unfollows Angela on Instagram. So now people are like, okay, things are ramping up. Things are getting crazy. And then there's these rumors circulating that Christian is refusing to pay child support to Kazu. So now the questions are, did he cheat on Kazu with Angela? Is he paying child support? What the happened? And people are side-eyeing Christian and Angela, and they decide they're going to do an interview.
Who?
Angela and Christian. They're like, people are getting mad at us, so I'm just going to tell you guys what's up.
Oh, that's bold.
I know, yeah.
That's bold, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it good?
I think if they had PR reps, which they probably did,
Yeah.
I think those PR reps are looking for new jobs. Let's just say that. So Angela tells the magazine for this exclusive interview, it's not a new relationship, it's the continuation of a story, which, by the way,
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, she says, says, it's not a new relationship. It's the continuation of a story that life made us pause so we could grow and miss each other. Did you get that? What the does that mean? What the it's a continuation of a story that life made us pause.
That means she's saying that they were dating before.
Yes. So people are like, okay, when could they have been dating? 2021, when they released that song full of chemistry, right? Or 2020. But that doesn't make sense because he was dating Belinda in 2020.
Right.
So now people are like, did he cheat on Belinda with Angela? And is that why they broke off their engagement? People are wondering.
But what if it was even before that?
Yeah, true. But she would have been a minor. Yeah, she would have been a minor during the song.
Yeah. Wait, whoa, that's crazy.
But again, I'm not saying this is when they dated, when they didn't date, but like the timelines are so close because right after Belinda, he starts dating Kazu almost immediately after. So like, I don't know where this continuation of a story that was on pause would happen. And I also don't know what that means. I don't know if that means they were dating. I don't know if that means that they were just friends and then they lost touch. So she says, because when we let go, we returned even closer. It's all very strange. It's all very strange. Now, the exclusive article for the magazine explained that the two are very much in love, more than ever, and that they're just full of plans for the future. They confirmed that the two started dating after Christian and Kazu broke up. So it's very evident that the journalist was emphasizing the fact that the two singers are both single when they got together. They keep pointing that out. They're like, hey, everyone, did you read this part? Because I'll tell you again. Maybe I'll put it in bold, but the editors won't let me. And they just wanted to reconnect after their professional encounter years ago. It's supposed to be a love story we're buying, but it's too late. Netizens hate them. Some netizens love them. Don't get me wrong. I think everybody has their different opinions and I'm going to go over them later, right? Now, the two try to continue to stop the hate. And I think this is where they mess up. I think sometimes when the hate is coming, you just gotta hide and not look. You gotta weather the storm, okay? But they don't. Christian limits his comments and he posts an Instagram justifying himself, and it ends up making everything so much worse. He does a video where he says, I know that many of you guys found out today that Angela and I are officially in a relationship. And since you love gossip, like, that's so crazy.
How did you know?
Yeah, but also, why am I catching a stray right now and making up stories out of respect for my ex-partner, my daughter, and my current partner? I wanted to give some context. Julieta Kazu is someone I love and will respect for my entire life. We are public figures, we're artists, but we aren't immune to life. Love doesn't always work out, and our time together ended in the best possible way. It was a love that gave us the most precious gift, the most beautiful thing we could have created together, which is Inti, my daughter, whom I will always love and care for. There were never any third parties in that relationship, no infidelity. Sometimes love just doesn't work, and now I find myself living a beautiful experience with a woman that I love, with a
That's
love that took so
crazy.
many years to reach this point, and we're enjoying it. I want to thank those who are happy for me. I'm enjoying my career, my life, my role as a father and as a partner. And thank you so much to those who understand. I love you very much. Thank you so much. People do not like that. The hate keeps coming. I will say they do get a lot of hate. Like, regardless of if you like them, don't like them, I don't think it's necessary to send hate. It's just very toxic. Anyway, Angela does another interview. This time she's talking about the hate she's getting. And she says, I am the daughter of Pepe Aguilar and the granddaughter of Flor Silvestre. And if they've shown me anything, is that you have to live your truth and sing your love. I've been very private because I've received a lot of criticism in the past, and also because that's how my parents lived their lives. They've been married for 27 years, and the only thing that's known about them is when they appear on the red carpet. People don't have to know my truth. I feel like if I explain it, I make myself guilty of something that I didn't even do. That's why I rarely defend myself. Moreover, I don't think I ever defend myself. Let people talk and say what they will. I know who I am, and the most important people in my life also know. So now people are like, okay, I'm getting confused because they're so confident. How can they be so confident if they did something wrong? I mean, netizens some of them are just, it doesn't matter if they cheated or not, just the fact that a child is involved and so closely to birth, they don't like it. Some are saying, you know what? Maybe we don't know the full story. Maybe they really weren't doing well, and then she got pregnant, and then, we don't know anything, right? We don't know. It is a little rude that they're singing and flirting on stage so quickly after announcing a breakup, but it's fine. Some people were saying things like, honestly, I'm kind of happy for them. I've been waiting for them to get together since they released that song years ago. I could feel the chemistry through the screen. Other people were saying they look so happy together. Like, as much as I loved Kazu and Christian, they just look happier together. Which is like kind of crazy to say also. Yeah. Other people were saying like, you cannot stop what's meant for you. People are gonna hate and you can't control that. Just let love be. And people start feeling like, maybe they were meant for each other. There's all these new TikToks coming about of like, maybe we were judging too quickly. Maybe they are the it love, the true love. Because in 2023, Angela sang this song called Inevitable. And everyone is now suspecting that it was about Christian. The lyrics read, it's inevitable for me to think about you so much, and you didn't love me, you just loved me for a while. Even if I feel silly, I must accept that I did imagine being able to be with you. Then people point to another song that Christian didn't release, but he sang a snippet of it. And it felt like they were talking to each other. The lyrics go, time has changed me and it wasn't planned. If I'm being honest with you, I was just scared. I've dreamed of you for so many nights. First came the sorrow and then the years. Then it came my fear of hurting you. At the end, we feel the same. So people are like sharing the side by side of it sounds like two people singing to each other. And they also show clips of her looking at him during the press tour of their 2020 song. She's just drinking water and staring at him while he is responding to the interviewer's question. And the comments read, it's always been her. Which I think is kind of crazy because she was a minor in this clip. So like, no, it hasn't been her at that point because she's a minor. But the comments continue, beautiful. And then here's a really crazy one. A toxic one. One commentator writes, he just let her grow a little.
What?
Damn.
A bit. That is absolutely gnarly. That is like the craziest thing that you could say. People say it's always been her whether we like it or not. And then people are fighting in the comments like, okay, let's see how long, quote, it's always been her lasts. But right when some people are getting on board, Belinda.
The first one, right?
Belinda, yes, the first girlfriend, allegedly posts on Instagram, it has now since been deleted, a story. Sooner or later, everything falls under its own weight. Kind of like everything falls into place. Like
cryptic.
Yes,
Oh my
cryptic
gosh.
while all of this is happening. So now people are like, okay, the timelines. They were dating in 2020 when they released their song. Angela said that they put their thing on pause, and then these songs of them writing about each other, maybe perhaps. So is it that Belinda and Christian were dating, he cheated on Belinda with Angela, and then got together with Kazu, and then cheated on her with Angela? That's what people thought. And then more goes down. just 2 days after the relationship is announced, where Christian
We're still at day 2?
yeah.
What?
Christian and Kazu break up, and Christian is like, okay, hi, I'm dating Angela. Christian's mother makes a post on Instagram wishing her daughter, Christian's sister, a happy 22nd birthday. And she posts all these compilations of pictures of the family. And, guess who is included in those pictures?
Angela. No.
Kazu. Remember, those two are close. And in the description, she writes of the caption, let's remain happy. Sending love to every woman out there and to the woman in my family.
So the mom is like posting about the ex-girlfriend now.
Yes, and the mother of her grandchild.
Yes.
And I love his mom for that because I just love stuff like that when, women support all women or whatever. But also the description, like the caption, sending love to every woman out there and to the woman in my family. It's kind of like, hey son, I'm very fucking disappointed in you.
Yeah.
It's just, just crazy.
But like nobody's saying anything.
No.
That's so interesting.
So the netizens are just going crazy by themselves. Like we have a few exclusive interviews and we're kind of trying to piece together timelines and nothing is making sense. And the comments under that post, people are supporting the shit out of the mom and the shit out of Kazu. And people are saying, I love that Christian's mom is an excellent mother. And I love the fact that she's empathetic as a woman and as a family member and includes Kazu. And, the fact that Kazu is part of the family, she will always be a part of the family no matter what happens. It's beautiful. Then Angela does something that I think she probably regrets. She goes on to ABC. ABCDE.
ABCDE, okay.
The journalist, the interviewer is like, I think there's been a lot of conversation about how you guys have found your way back to each other. One thing I haven't read, though, is the story in your own words. Angela responds, well, because everyone already makes up everything. Why do I have to say things? They're literally telenovelas about it. Then the journalist mentions a time where she met Angela in 2022 to talk about her music and says she felt like Angela might have been talking about her relationship with Christian, although it didn't feel, it just doesn't make any sense. Now, Angela doesn't confirm any of this timeline. She just says, it's crazy because since I got married, I've been writing heartbreak songs. I think I've written like 2 love songs. I'm just a sufferer at heart, but he knows I love him, so it's okay. So the interviewer is like, were you heartbroken then when you guys, like when we talked 2 years ago in 2022? And she says, I think I've always been very heartbroken. I think my heart has always been broken a lot since I was very little. And we're not.
I used to think a holiday one-stop shop was a myth until
these ads. I have to mute them or else I get copyright claimed. It's annoying.
Girl, I think when you're in the industry very young, you have to mature really quickly and you expose yourself. For me, I exposed myself to things that I should have waited a little to do. So my heart was constantly getting broken, not by people, but by the illusions I had of people that surrounded me. Expectations. Exactly. I mean, of course, Christian broke my heart a while ago, but now it's together again. So what is the story? Well, it's not the one that the media is portraying, and I don't feel like right now, in this point in my life, I don't really feel like I have to explain anything to anyone.
So they're doing so many interviews, they're saying so much, but also not saying anything.
Yes.
But this makes them look a little more, even more guilty, right?
Like, why not do the interview?
Yeah.
It's just a lot of deciphering. And she says, I think people are being villainized and I think people are being badly portrayed. I think that they're not putting our characters where they should be. They don't even know 5% of the story that they're trying to tell, but that's okay because that's what sells. And we're in an industry and this is where we're working. I signed up to be a singer, but I got all of this. It's part of it. The only thing is that the only parties in hand are together and united and we're all on the same page and no one's heart got broken. we have a clear consciousness. And I think that the fans, because they love us, are trying to protect us in many ways. But what everyone should know is we're all okay. We're all happy. We're adults. We know how to handle this situation. What you see on social media is not real. Which, side note, she's 21. She's very well spoken. But she continues. All the parties involved were okay with it. You know, they knew what was going on. She says, we just shared this with the public because we're public people, but it's not your relationship, you know. That's it. I'm just trying to enjoy my life. Essentially, Angela says in this relationship that Kazu and Christian had been broken up for months by the time that she and Christian got together. Nobody's heart was broken. Kazu knew about their relationship and was okay with it. The last week of October. Okay, a few months later. She does that interview.
2024.
Yes.
So very recent.
Like a month ago, okay?
Okay.
It's been very eventful. If Christian and Angela thought that they would be the only ones going around doing interviews, they were wrong. Because finally, months later, Kazu, Christian's mother of his child, finally decides to speak up about the breakup. She's only done like one very PR friendly, breakup post, and that's it. And she goes in. Kazu is introduced to this podcast. It's on a podcast. She's introduced as the singer, the songwriter, and the whole interview was translated for me. It's a beautiful interview. She talks about her role as a mother and how scared she was, and she always felt guilty and judged for everything. And now she knows how to talk to other mothers and seek guidance, and she feels really good about where she's going. She also says, there's a limit for everything. And eventually, the conversation goes to the breakup with Christian. And this is the translation of what she says. She says, well, my limit of everything, a few months ago, I went through a breakup, which was very tumultuous and very public, that became kind of like a parallel universe. A lot was going on, and recently I've remained silent for all this time because I thought that was the right thing to do, because I'm like that. It's just how I am as a person. And recently, something happened that made me feel like I had reached my limit and that it was necessary, perhaps, for me to clear things up, or at least have a voice, to use my voice, which I use for so many other things, to tell my side of the story. Because I think that my integrity as a person was put on the line. It was said recently that I knew for a very long time about the relationship between these two people, that they started a relationship many months before it was exposed, and that I was informed about it, suggesting that I was part of this plan of sorts. So I feel like I have to deny all of that and say that that is a lie.
No. No.
She said she found out about their relationship just like everybody else did. Online.
So she found out the day after the divorce.
The breakup. Yeah. She said,
oh my
what
goodness.
are you saying? And she said the gravity of these claims that they're coming from the mouths of one of the protagonists, it's just the rumors that are being spread from made-up stories have deeply hurt my feelings.
So what they said was not true.
No. Or at least she's saying it's not true, and netizens will break down the timeline because, people are sleuthing. People are like the FBI out here. It's crazy. She said, I just want to set my limits straight. I was not aware that they were in a relationship beforehand. When I was broken up with, it was for a different reason. And I asked him, are you seeing someone else? The answer was no. I found out about their relationship the same way everyone else found out about it, through media, social media and stuff. I was surprised, of course, because I knew her. I had shared some moments with her. So at first I thought, it's a rumor, it's not true, but it turns out it was true.
Wow.
Obviously, it was a surprise. I didn't say anything about it because I never felt like I had to. If someone doesn't want to be in a relationship with another person, there's nothing I can do about it. I mean, I'm not going to ask someone who doesn't want to be a part of my life to be a part of my life. I simply accepted it. But then it became public and a lot was going on, and my feelings were talked about by someone who doesn't know me. So a lot of people were really upset about the fact that Angela was saying, nobody's heart was broken. Because how can you speak for someone else?
Yeah. You're implying that she was cool with it.
And also it's like, it's one thing to say that about your family, but obviously this is a situation where it's very precarious. You're talking about the ex, girlfriend and mother of the child of the person that you're seeing, and they just broke up publicly. It's just, why are you speaking for them?
Yeah.
And a lot of people also think her age has to do with it.
Whose age?
Angela. Like they're like,
She's very
little
young,
girl,
right?
stay in your lane. Like little girl, no man is worth it. Like you don't know what is going on right now.
I wonder what the family thinks because her family's so influential. Like
it seems like they're supporting. They actually took in Christian beef in 2018. The reason that Christian and Angela met was Pepe Aguilar brought in Christian for his tour. Which was a big deal because, yes, Christian was a star in his own right, but he was like this young boy who got viral. Pepe Aguilar is like, I mean, his name is, he's Pepe Aguilar.
Yeah.
So it was a very big deal. And it's just, seems like they support it. I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. At least publicly they support it. And Kazu is saying, I just didn't like that my feelings were talked about by someone who doesn't know me, who doesn't know what I went through. It was said that no hearts were broken and that no one was hurt. I was very hurt, and more than one heart was deeply broken. A lot of hearts were broken. It was a very painful process. I think that I acted very respectfully towards everyone, especially because I have a daughter who has a dad who will forever be her dad. But I think when things go past a certain line and limit, it is good to teach my daughter that she has to set boundaries. I never bothered anyone or had the intention of bothering anyone because of this new relationship. I not only respected it publicly, but in private as well. In my house, we have always respected others. Her dad visited my house twice. And it was always full of respect, and all the communication has always been based on respect. So I was expecting people to respect me as well because I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything to anyone. And just the worst part of all of this is that it's just a terrible, terrible lie. And she's saying, quote, I did not know. I mean, that means he was living a double life if they're saying that they were dating for months. I didn't know. I mean, who knows when they started dating then? If I was pregnant or had just given birth, I don't know.
This must blew up, right? The biggest news.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and also, okay, so her main point of contention was the lying about the fact that she knew about it. Second part was talking about her feelings and saying nobody's heart was broken because she probably went through so much. And you're trying to be like, she's fine. She's fine. That's so rude, right? And then the third thing is, she says, quote, her story is being intertwined with all of this. Angela said in the interview, we're all adults. We are not all adults. Kazu says, there is a baby. And that life is the most important thing that must be protected. She's saying, like, what do you mean we're all adults? Is like, we figured it out. We all, like, we're all mature. We're all adults. We all agreed. We all knew we're not heartbroken. Yes. And she's like, all of that is a lie. And there's a baby here involved in all of this that is going to be heartbroken.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so this podcast.
So is that why people start calling her the new Panini?
Yeah. Okay. So our researchers were telling me how in the beginning there were a lot of netizens that were calling her Angela Panini, but then also people were fighting back. Of like, you don't know what happened. Like, stay out of it. Just because you like one celebrity over the other, like you don't know these people in real life. And then this podcast, and everyone was like, oh my God, Panini. Oh my God, Panini. Yeah. So now people want to know the truth. They believe Kazu, but they need to verify, right? And sure enough, the dates in a lot of netizens' minds start adding up with Kazu's story, but also like, why would she lie about something so painful and devastating? The comments on that video read, oh my God, I came for gossip. And instead I got a lesson in self-love, dignity, and resilience. A woman with integrity. My total admiration goes to you. How strong. They also say, without speaking badly about anyone, without mentioning names, without speaking on their behalf, she focused on herself, her experience, her pain, and what she went through. What a class act. Yeah, people were very impressed, but they still want the evidence. So they start collecting it from everywhere. So there was this show. Christian goes on the show. The producers are like, hey, we have a video for you because this is your first Father's Day. This is like near the end of May. This is your first Father's Day. And, you know, Kazu has this beautiful message that she sent in and we want to show it to you. So he watches the video and Kazu is talking about how happy she is with her life and all of these beautiful things that are going on. She's saying things like, I'm sending you this message to wish you a very, very happy Father's Day. Your first one, so it's very special. I love you so much. We love you so much. Thank you for being an incredible man, for taking care of us, for loving us so much. And we just send you big hugs and kisses. We love you. And okay, in this, a few things to note. She's got these metallic silver nails. She also posted them end of April. She was like posting Instagram stories. So these nails probably last like 2 weeks before they start looking not that great, right? And celebrities are usually really good at maintaining their nails because they're always in the public eye. So just remember this. The nails are silver in the video. This is like end of April, beginning of May, she had these nails. So that means when she's filming this, they are together. She doesn't think that they're broken up because why else would she film this and send it and the producers want it? And then on top of that, the reaction from the reality show, a lot of netizens feel like it's of someone who is cheating but doesn't want to upset the other party. Because his reaction to this loving message from the mother of his child for Father's Day, he's just kind of like, it's weird that people wish me a happy Father's Day. You know, it's just like, you know, I guess I'm new to being a dad. It's just kind of weird, yeah. It just looks like he wants this to be over. He has his hand on his chin. He's not even like smiling much, just like, So people are like, wait, this feels really strange. Now, May 10th, 2 days after Father's Day, Angela starts liking all of Christian's Instagram posts. Just like mass liking all of them. May 11th, Christian deletes all his Instagram posts with Kazu, his baby's mother and girlfriend, you know, and fans start speculating like, did they break up? Did they break up? We don't know. May 15th, Christian starts liking all of Angela's posts on Instagram, which he had never done until that day. And guys,
whoa, he's moving fast.
They haven't even
broken up
publicly.
Oh my goodness.
May 16th, there's breakup rumors. There's cheating rumors, obviously. And then Angela uploads a picture on Instagram where she's wearing this cross chain for the first time. And it's not Angela's style. Angela is like very into she's always dressed very feminine, very like ruffles, flowers, florals. Like I think that's her image. I don't know if that's what she gravitates towards or it's like a marketing image thing, right? But she's wearing this cross chain. So clearly Christians. Like people are like, I've seen that freaking necklace on him all the freaking time.
Wow.
Like
so they're so obvious.
Yes. And
they're like liking it, posting it. Very, very weird. Why would they do that?
I don't know. And then May 17th, one day after posting that video photo where she's wearing his chain, she posts a new video. And once again, she's wearing the same cross necklace. Now, this time it's even more obvious to people that that's his chain and people start going nuts. May 23rd, a week later, Christian posts a story on Instagram announcing the breakup. So this is all before the breakup. They're doing all this before the breakup. He writes, it's a moment to share with you that Julieta and I parted ways. Again, very PR-friendly breakup post. Kazu says something, and it's very PR-friendly that day. One day after that breakup, Christian invites Angela to his show. They're very intimate. They're holding hands. May 30th, Christian and Angela are spotted together, like out and about. It looks like they're on a date or something. That day, Kazu unfollows Angela on Instagram. Because I think maybe the rumors were just like, she's like, oh, netizens are crazy, you know? And then she's like, wait a freaking minute. They're seen out together? That's crazy. We thought that they were just liking photos. And like, who knows? Maybe she has the same cross necklace. People are weird. But turns out they're out and about together. June 1st, Angela goes on stage with Christian. And it's just so obvious. It's just so obvious. June 10th, Angela and Christian confirm that they're dating. So they make it public less than a month after he announces his breakup with Kazu.
And then the wedding.
Yes. Is 1 month later after that.
Dang, what is going on?
Yeah, so people are analyzing the dates, and mainly it falls on that Father's Day video with the nails. They're like, you couldn't have been broken up for months because that was May. You know, so she made that video in May. You announce your relationship in June. That's like 1 month. And then also Kazu saying that she didn't know about it. none of this is making sense. None of it. And also, you don't just start dating. So let's say they break up and Christian starts dating Angela. It would be really strange for them to just get married a month later. So now people are so confused by this. Now Christian comes out to defend his wife. Another miss. He does another video, but stop. There's one part where he says, I respect Julieta and I love Inti. Julieta is my wife. And everyone's like, your wife is Angela, sir. Hello?
Yeah. What is going on?
Yeah. People said, oh, okay. Even you're getting confused on your timeline, sir. Okay.
What did he say that? He's trying to say Juliana was my ex.
Or like, is the mother of my child or something. Like or maybe he was saying, you know, I respect Julieta and Inti because that's the mother of my child. That's my child. But Angela is my wife. You know, maybe he was trying to say that. But at another point in the live, he says, let he that has not sinned cast the first stone. Huh? Sir, you're not really helping your situation right now. That sounds so guilty. That sounds like I'm bad, but like, so are you. So don't be mean. Now, the crazy part is people are suspecting that Christian has already started cheating on Angela. Yeah, I know. You're like doing the math. Okay, so they get married July 2024. And now people are saying, like, all of this drama is unfolding. And adding to that drama is people are saying, hey, he's cheating on Angela. These are all just straight up rumors. They could be perfectly happy. We don't know. But shortly after their wedding, people saw pictures of Christian with Angela's best friend, a woman named Monica, who attended their wedding. And according to trolls, Monica has had a crush on Christian before he married her best friend. I guess maybe she was like a fan or something, right?
In the past, in Ontario, we're not allowed to sell
and the only thing that is driving people to spread it are pictures that Monica posted with Christian during the wedding party. So she like probably took pictures with the bride and the groom, you know, and people start claiming he looks happier with Monica, which is crazy. That is crazy. Some people are even saying Pepe Aguilar knew that Christian and Monica had some sort of chemistry. That's why he made Christian sign a prenuptial agreement about the cheating clause. One netizen even tweeted, Monica, karma in real life, karma in a person. There's a picture of Angela, Monica, and Christian, and Angela has her hand around Monica's waist, and people are pointing out it's to prevent her friend from touching her husband. It's like a whole thing. Guys, I'm all for a good conspiracy theory, but this one's a little bit crazy. It's just rumors at this point. We don't know. There's also a picture circulating that allegedly shows Christian kissing another woman who shared it on her Instagram. She claims that she is an old friend of Angela's, and she has a picture with Angela to prove it. And now Christian is cheating with all of Angela's friends, and some netizens are saying it's karma. We don't know if any of this is true. So now let's break it down. So there are multiple groups of people and their opinions now. You have some netizens where their overall sentiment is that they just want Angela and Christian to be happy. They also want Kazu to be happy, but they just want everyone to be happy. Nobody's mad at anybody. They're writing things like Angela Aguilar at her wedding with Christian Nodal wearing a vintage dress inspired by her grandmother. I mean, it's such a traditional style for special moments, and it's beautiful. Like, they're saying the Nodal Aguilar dynasty is going to begin. Others are saying, look, if something bad did happen, which it seems like it did because, you know, like Kazu didn't know and then there was lying that was happening, but regardless, some netizens think the couple has received enough hate. Like, they think to a degree they paid for some of the consequences of what happened, and now let them live, let them love. Like, what do you want? What do you want? Them to break up, them to be miserable, them to like hate themselves now? You know, they're just kind of like, the amount of hate that they got, let's just keep it moving. If you don't support them, don't buy their music, don't buy their stuff, don't do anything. Is it really necessary to hate and flood their comment section with death threats? Which I do think is kind of a valid statement, but that's how some netizens feel. Others don't like Angela and Christian. They're saying, I'm not gonna send you death threats. I'm not gonna hate on you. They're saying that they're not good people and we don't wanna support them. Then there are people who are just against Christian. They're saying, he met Angela when she was very young. I mean, they're 3 years apart, so it's not like the biggest age gap, but she was a minor. They met kind of on unequal footing is what some netizens believe. And they have a conspiracy that perhaps Christian told Angela, like, we're broken up. Me and Kazu are broken up. And that's why he reacted that way to the Father's Day message. And maybe he was trying to convince her, oh, it was all for the show. It's like a whole thing that the producers were doing because, we got to sell the relationship, blah, 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 blah. And she might... Because why else would she go on this interview with ABC and say something that is so easily proven false?
That would be crazy.
Yeah, because some people are saying she did that because she knew Kazu wasn't going to talk because she hadn't spoken since. Like, they think it's that assumption. And some netizens are saying, no, maybe that's her truth. Like, maybe that's what she genuinely thinks. But then some netizens are arguing, even if she thinks that, still bad. They're saying, like, me as a person, morally, I'm not going to date someone who just had a kid with another woman, even if he's like, no, trust me, we just haven't, like, publicly broken up yet. So it's just all up in the air. One comment reads, Christian Nodal put a ring on Belinda's finger, had a daughter with Kazu, and is now married to Angela Aguilar. We are waiting to find out who he will be having his honeymoon with.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Another comment online reads, this guy left his daughter, who's still a baby, and the mother, almost right after she gave birth, to be with someone else because he has zero emotional responsibility. But I will say, regardless of which side people are on, they're all supporting Kazu, mainly. It's just, yeah, it's kind of sad, but also so admirable. Yeah. She is the epitome of grace and the way that she's handling it with so much elegance.
Yeah, and did she didn't say anything
negative,
right?
She never said anything negative. She only spoke very transparently about how she felt.
Yes.
And it was very based on her feelings and how she's healing and what she wants to do to teach her daughter how to navigate life.
Wow.
Yeah. It's really cute. Yeah, and really quick update. Kazu and her daughter were dressed up as butterflies for Halloween. So this is like around the time that the whole podcast came out and like the world went to shit. But it's like the cutest thing ever. And I hope that they can move on and live the happiest life. But also, speaking of Halloween this year, there's a picture that went viral of 3 random people, 2 women and 1 guy, hanging out, dressed up as Christian, Kazu, and Angela for Halloween. And that has been how crazy this case has been. People are saying she is the new Carla Panini. Do you agree, or do you think... What are your thoughts? I will say... It's not as clear-cut as Carla Panini because Carla Panini...
Yeah, Carla Panini was evil.
And like, she is fucking
Carla Panini,
crazy.
Yeah, Carla Panini wants the husband or ex-husband, whatever, to abuse the ex-wife while she's laying on the hospital bed with cancer. It's crazy.
Yeah.
How messed up that is. Yeah,
and then just the way she speaks and just everything is... It's not as PR.
Yeah. With this one so far, at least, like, I feel like it's definitely suspicious and really messed up, but I
think I know what you're feeling, which is, okay, with the Carla Panini case, it's such a sad end. It's like an infuriating end, right? It's like, I'm so upset. With this one, it's like, I just am so admiring Kazu. I don't know about anything else, but the way she's handling this and the fact that she's moving on and being happy, at least it's like a semblance of like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have to get so riled up because we should just support her is the feeling.
Yeah.
And like, you can support whoever you want, but like, we should definitely support her, for sure. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? Is she the new Carla Panini? I don't know. That was a stressful time in my life. That was a weird time. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. And I hope you guys enjoy. Stay safe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
The oil business affects everything in a town like this. Men die. Oil companies don't.
Wayfair's Black Friday Savings Spectacular is on now. Plus, get fast and free shipping on everything.
Alright, I'm just gonna keep going. I'm just fixing up the hands. Yeah, we're doing some Dandadan episode 9 fan art. I'm really being very picky about the hands. I'm gonna go in there and fix them. Oh, what else we got here? We'll play another podcast. I was looking for a true crime one, but this one will have to do for now. Let's see what else we have. A quick little second here. Try to find a video to play in the background. I found
Here, right? Well, yeah, the goofy guy that I was having with decided to take off with my kill.
I killed Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon is my hero. Do I look like a black-haired, black-eyed gimp?
You had no intention of keeping him here forever as a slave in your basement.
Once they're done, you just keep them.
On Christmas Day 2019, a Michigan couple grows worried when their 25-year-old son doesn't show up for the family breakfast. Police launch an investigation that will soon take them into some of the darkest corners of the underground fetish community, where violence and recreation go hand in hand. The detectives are now tasked to uncover the truth. Was an unhappy young man searching for someone who would release him from his misery for good? Or did his search for pleasure drive him into the clutches of a depraved cannibal?
So you would have taken more of his body and put it in the dehydrator?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's late in the afternoon of December 25th, 2019, when Flint Township police officers respond to a missing persons report in Swartz Creek, Michigan. The parents of 25-year-old hairdresser Kevin Richard Bacon expected him to show up at their house at 9 a.m. that morning for Christmas breakfast with the family, but he never appeared. He's not answering his phone, and no one has seen or heard from him since the previous day. However, the parents provide information that give police a head start. They tell investigators that their son is gay and has been regularly meeting up with men through various online dating apps. In fact, his roommate reports that Kevin was headed out for just such a date on Christmas Eve. Police have no way of knowing at this point if Kevin's date is related to his disappearance, but there have been several recent incidents involving online hookups in this area.
Having an e-commerce store and a brick-and-mortar store, keeping track of
He's running down the road, trying to get an address for a mailbox or something, going kind of hysterical.
One of these recent incidents happened only a month ago, on November 25th. Michigan police responded to a report about a young man running down the road wearing only a leather kilt and an older man chasing him down. This young man managed to get to a resident's house in the neighborhood to call 911. And if the details of his run through the area are strange, his story of what happened immediately prior is even more bizarre.
How far down? Thank you. White break. 3 stories. took all your clothes off you? Look at you. Nothing like that happened? No. So it's trying, but okay. And I was having sympathy. How do you know this guy? How long have you known him? How long have you known him? How did you meet him?
The caller admits that this started as a consensual meetup, not the first one he's had with the man. However, this encounter soon turned frightening. Once the man chained him up in his secluded basement, he told the caller that he was going to keep him captive. The moment the caller found an opportune moment, he fled the house to get to safety and call the police.
Let me ask, I'm asking you a straight up question, my man. Are you looking to press charges from what happened today? Okay, because here's the thing, is that if we start doing a bunch of investigations and he says, yeah, you know what, man, this guy told me he was into it, and all this, well, hold on, let me just explain this. And we end up doing all kinds of stuff, and you're not willing to do anything about this, then we kind of don't really have a whole lot of any leg to stand on at that point, you know what I mean? So what are you looking to have done out of it today? Okay.
Could the details of this strange incident have anything to do with the disappearance of Kevin Bacon? Police aren't sure yet, but there are definitely some similarities. The young man from November made plans with his alleged assailant online, and that's where Kevin met his date as well. Kevin's roommate says he left the house at around 5:23 p.m. on Christmas Eve to meet the man, which was also recorded on the home's Nest camera footage. She tells police she hasn't heard from Kevin since 6:11 p.m. when he sent this text. Okay, well, I'm going to be out for a while, actually. This is going to be fun. He's inviting more men. Merry Christmas. Not sure when I'll be back. Probably will be out late. So if Mom calls you, I'm sleeping. Ha ha. The circumstances surrounding Kevin's sudden disappearance are concerning for several reasons. For one, Kevin's parents admit to police that their son has tried to take his own life in the past. Could the story of an online hookup merely be a pretense to get out of the house and away from anyone who might prevent him from trying again? Or did he run into someone with suspicious intent, like that young man from last month? Police in November did end up speaking to the older gentleman involved in that dispute, and while he denied any wrongdoing, something seemed strange about his behavior.
Hello. Why don't you come on out? Oh, sure. What can I help you with? Well, I think you probably know why we're here, right? Well, yeah, the goofy guy that I was having with decided to take off with my killer. Okay. Well, can you put the dog away so we can talk a little bit more about this? Because he's telling us one side of the story, and we want to get yours. Went over to his place a couple of months ago, and then he contacted me and he says, hey, come on over, and hit me up, and I'll come out. I said, well, I got some tile that I need to. Okay. I said, then we can play a little bit. And so he came up, I picked him up, came over, followed the tile, played around a little bit. Next thing I know, boom. He left his pile of clothes right here. He took my filth. He's telling me that you wouldn't let him go. You chained him up? Well, I got chains and stuff, but you have chains. He could have left at any time. Okay. Did he ask you to leave? What? Did he ask you to leave? No. He never asked to leave, and you had him chained up in the basement? Well, he was here today. Okay. So, I mean, yeah. Do I have chains? Yeah. So I got a sling. Was this just all like a bunch of role-playing type stuff? I mean, bingo. All right. Exactly. So you had no intention of keeping him here forever as a slave in your basement? No. Okay. I've got too much going on for something like that. All right.
The man tells the police that the day was spent between two consenting adults, and he's perplexed as to what happened to make the other guy run off with his leather kilt.
We've seen one another a couple of times. How many is a couple? Well, I met him at Walmart one day, and then he looked me up, and found me and started, went back and forth on the internet for a while, just chatting back and forth. Then, it's like, so he kept finding, he was pursuing my account.
Okay.
Not a matter of me looking up him, and I'm looking at him, okay, fine. It's like, what the heck? You want to play for a day? I'll play. No big deal.
All right.
But as far as him going, that's crazy, I can't explain that at all.
And everything, you're telling me everything was consensual.
Everything was consensual.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Mark.
M-A-R-K?
Yeah.
Middle name?
David.
And your last?
Latunski.
With two conflicting stories about this encounter and the purported victim declining to press charges, there's not much more the troopers can do to investigate. They file their reports and move on, not knowing that the disappearance of Kevin Bacon would lead them back to Mark Latunski much sooner than they thought. Late on Christmas Day, Kevin's parents find their son's Saturn Aura in the parking lot of the Family Dollar. After opening the car with a spare key, investigators find $80 in cash, Kevin's credit and debit cards, and his driver's license. Even more concerning is what they find in the back seat: a grocery sack containing the clothing he was last seen wearing, his phone, and his keychain. The car key and fob have also been removed from the keychain. The following day, a thorough sweep of the strip mall property with a K-9 unit, a community search party, and a helicopter search produced no results. But despite 2 days of frustrating dead-end leads, this investigation is about to take a sharp turn. With some help from the Michigan State Police, detectives retrieved messages from Kevin's account on a dating app from the night he went missing. He was corresponding with someone calling themselves Olikos, and they made plans to meet up on Christmas Eve in front of Family Dollar. Family found his car. Using facial recognition software, police put the Olikos profile to a real name: Mark David Latunski.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Mark.
Troopers head out to Mark's house again, but he says he doesn't know anyone named Kevin Bacon. Nonetheless, they thoroughly search the house and find nothing amiss until they go into the basement. There they encounter a disquieting sight that sends a chill down their spines. Behind a partially hidden room, they find long chains attached to a pulley system in the ceiling and the naked body of a dead man hanging by his feet. They immediately handcuff Mark Latunski and put him in the back of a patrol vehicle as they continue to process the horrifying scene inside. From their information and photographs of Kevin Bacon, they can quickly tell that they've found their missing person. But before they proceed, police notice another disturbing detail. A part of Kevin's body has been mutilated. While the search for Kevin Bacon has come to an end, the inquiry into what happened here has only just begun. In the meantime, Mark Latunski sits alone in the cop car, contemplating his fate.
Didn't take him long, did it? You want to treat him like a homicide. Of course.
Mark will spend quite a long time in the back of this car as the police carefully investigate the house. But he won't spend all of it alone, and it soon becomes clear to cops on the scene that it will not be easy to get straight answers to even the simplest questions.
Mark, I'm Sergeant Verdant, State Police, okay? Do you know what's going on? Do you know why you're in the back of this car?
Yes, I know why I'm back in the back of this car.
Okay, well, I just want to let you know I got my detective en route. My detective's probably going to want to talk to you, okay? So.
That's fine.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to let you know.
And then once I talk to him, how am I going to get back home?
Well, let's get stage one first, okay? Let's get the detective out here.
Absolutely. And then I can explain to him all the things that you guys don't know.
Okay.
And then I can come back home.
Yeah, because we want to know your side of the story, okay?
Absolutely.
But we'll wait for the detective to get out here. But I just wanted to at least let you know, okay?
Look, I understand.
Okay. All right, Mark. Hey, how do you pronounce your last name? Latunski?
That's the name that you're going to have me in your system as, yes.
Okay. All right.
And 230 white male, one wearing a blue and white shirt, the other wearing a gray long.
Do I look like a black-haired, black-eyed gimp?
What do you mean?
Latunski.
Oh, is that what that means?
Yeah. The Latunskis are all black-haired, black-eyed gimps.
If the cop in the front seat isn't quite sure what to make of this declaration, it's hardly the last curious thing Mark will say in the back of the car.
I went to Battle Creek, picked up this guy, had his leg amputated below the knee. And he was the one who helped me decorate the palm tree.
Oh, really?
You want to know what electricity has done for me?
What's that?
It allowed my next-door neighbor to shove arsenic into a hole and put it into my well and every well downstream for 2 miles. Oh, my leg just dropped off.
Which one?
Well, the one that I wear on my... But you don't know the facts. And the facts are, how do you turn a black-haired, black-eyed boy who was born a cripple into a blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy who's Norwegian?
Got gloves?
Get some gloves. You don't want to touch anything that's what touches it. Nothing happens here in Shiawassee.
While Mark's collection of odd conversational subjects may seem almost random, he brings many of them with him to the interrogation. He's particularly interested in sharing the backstory of his name, which is apparently a window into a complex family history.
That is not my legal name.
Oh, it isn't?
No. That is a stolen identity. Mark David Latunski was last, or at least the last record that I have of Mark David Latunski was 1972. He was born in 1969. He has black hair, he has brown eyes, and he was born a cripple. So, what happened to Mark David Latunski? I have no idea. Okay. However, all of the people that I grew up with knew that I'm not Mark David Latunski. And they just failed to tell me. All I know is that I'm sitting here as the only living Thomas of Wales that I've been able to find. So, to what extent that makes one iota of difference to why we're talking, I don't know.
It's a question that the detectives have perhaps pondered themselves by this point, since they are, after all, looking less at Mark's family records and more at any information he can give them that might explain how Kevin ended up dead in his basement.
Manscaped is the ultimate gift for him this holiday season. Now you can spice up your gift sack and save big doing it. Manscaped is offering 25% off site-wide. So what are you waiting for? Put Manscaped at the top of your wish list.
All the same, the police will speak to various people in Mark's life over the coming days. And through these interviews, they will learn that Mark's fixations on his own mistaken identity are nothing new. They first speak with his ex-wife, Emily.
It was at my son's birthday party, and he came out with all these theories that he wasn't actually his mother's son. He was his mother's brother, and there was a family fortune that he was supposed to get, and there was people watching him. And I tried for 2 years to get him to. He was hospitalized for twice in the stress unit. Tried for 2 years to get him to stay on medication and to get him help, and he just refused.
Mark will give detectives every gruesome detail they want to know before this night is through. For now, however, they want to get a better understanding of who he is.
What do you do? You said you mentioned you work. What do you do for a living? Well, right now I'm doing construction. What I have done for a living is had my trust funds raided by people who were pretending to employ me and giving me back my own money.
The detectives quickly realize that getting any coherent background information on Mark will be a chore, but he eventually acknowledges that he spent much of the last 20 years employed as a chemist at 2 prominent companies in Michigan. However, for the past several months, he's been working odd jobs, some of which seem pretty odd indeed for someone with a master's degree in chemistry.
I was looking for honest work. I started trying to pick up odd jobs where I would do something. Put up someone's drywall. No go. And so finally, using the name Vilcus, I put an ad on RentMan, and man, if I can give a massage and somebody's going to pay me, that's more honest money than what I was doing. If a man's going to pay me to rub him down, fine.
So how long have you been doing that?
It was probably I started it in about April of this year.
So like massages?
Just massages. It's like, you know what? I'll spend time with you. Man can't guarantee. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So, hey, guess what? I can't sell that because that's not the way the world works. But you want to spend your time with me? Boom. Here's your price. And I'll have a good time with it, and you will as well.
Mark's sudden career detour is hard to account for, even with odd stories of trust funds and hidden conspiracies. After being with his ex-wife and 4 children for a decade, his sudden interest in men has its own history that his ex-wife explains to the detectives.
I found a mail on the computer, and I asked him about it, and he said, I just want to make sure I measure up. You just want to know how I measure up. And I, okay. Yeah. I didn't even think about it.
As time went on, however, Emily began to realize there was more to it than that.
He admitted to me that he was cheating with men, cheating on me with men, and I found out that he had been, meeting men when he was traveling and after work. And so we did counseling for a year, and that didn't go anywhere. And he was still meeting men, and so I filed for divorce. I said, I'm finished.
Mark's first marriage ended in 2013, leading to a messy divorce and child visitation disputes, some of which involved the police.
It was in August. In the summer, he refused to bring them back. He was supposed to meet me, but he didn't tell me. We were supposed to meet in the morning to exchange the kids, and he didn't show up. So I called him, and at this point, he'd already called the CPS on me 3 times. And so I called him, and he said, I'm not bringing it back. And I said, you need to bring them back. He says, I'm not going to. And if you don't like it, you can call the police.
Emily did call the police, which ultimately resulted in Mark getting arrested for parental kidnapping. The charge was later dropped, but it nonetheless was one of the first serious brushes Mark had with the law. Detectives proceed to inquire about another incident that brought state troopers out to his home a month ago in November.
Back in November, the troopers came out because there was somebody who ran from their house. What I'm saying is, if that was a consensual act, at what point or what caused him to flee?
He was freely walking around the house. There was no problem whatsoever. I in fact, had taken my eyes completely off of him. That's like, it's like, if you want to sit the upstairs, go ahead, sit the upstairs. Go. Do what you want. It was interesting that at that point, and I don't know exactly what is going on inside of his head, but he had full ability to get his own clothes. They were right there. But he went to one of the most expensive pieces of leather articles that I own and put that on. My personal opinion is that he found the nicest piece of leather where he shimmied into it and he was going to walk with it, and if he got out of sight where I didn't know where he was, boom, he could call somebody and say, look, and then go home with it.
Mark dismisses the November incident and claims it was a matter of personal theft, no matter how much the other man's accusations might be similar to what seems to have happened with Kevin. Detectives are taking nothing for granted, however, and they use the subject of Mark's apparent willingness to take money from men online to circle back to their current investigation.
Your brain lights up like a TV when you're playing video games. So check this out. Researchers from the University of California found that certain areas of the brain linked to learning and memory become super active during gaming. That's why it's so easy to get absorbed and to be focused on a task like getting a 30 kill streak. But what if you could tap into that same brain power, not just for gaming, but for like learning and doing your job? And that's when I was recommended to use this AI tool. This tool helps flip that switch for work and learning. So it plans out your day for you, breaks down your tasks so you're so engaged that you become just as active as you do during gaming. Users have doubled their productivity and went from working like 60-hour work weeks to 30-hour work weeks. And they created all of this time that they never knew that they had available. And if you want to harness that gaming level focus for real life productivity, then you got to check out the link in the description.
The perfect gift to be truly present in the moment.
Just trying to stay in tune with my body.
The breeze on your skin, the high that I'm constantly chasing, an opportunity to slow down. That's what the holidays is all about.
Did Kevin pay you for your time? Like when you were, did he? So
No.
Could you have mentioned massages were $200 an hour and then 15 for a day?
Look.
So that was nothing.
In this situation, it was there no money.
Gotcha. Okay.
The question, of course, is what exactly the situation was that brought Kevin Bacon into Mark's company on December 24th. And at last, investigators will hear Mark's version of how an online date turned tragic.
Yeah,
a story designed to paint him as a man of compassion and honor, and not as a brutal murderer. He starts by describing their initial introduction on the app.
We chatted for a while.
Let's go to pause this for a second.
Describe the things that he...
Right now, I'm just working on this Dandadan episode 9 fan art of Momo. Like to see when she's in the water about to do that power thing, or she did the power thing. I'm just working the leg warmers. I'm just trying to get like the perspective right. Just messing around with it. I'm gonna add more characters. I think I want to add all of them. Yeah, I'm gonna work more on her shoulders because they seem a little hunky to me. So yeah, I'm gonna fix that up. But yeah, we're gonna keep going from here. But this is just a rough sketch. Just get things going. And we're gonna color it and add all that special effects and water and stuff. It'll be like a fun little action piece. Push it up a little bit. But yeah, episode 9, that was wild. That's definitely one you have to watch alone. Or you get some cringe stares at you. But that was wild. I was not expecting that.
He wanted. I did what I could to bring those things about. And after we sat and made an agreement about what was going to happen, we made the agreement, and he was supposed to disappear, be gone.
According to Mark, Kevin sought him out to spend a night that would culminate in mercy killing.
Okay, let's say that the police have a problem with it. I said, the police have a problem with it, then what? They throw me in jail. Or they try to. I said, I guess I'll just have to deal with that. But you know as well as I do that in our society, although we say, a man can just go, does our society really allow that? No. And what it leaves behind is all kinds of I'm going to say, things for his family. that a man doesn't want to leave. Now, the things that I set up for him and plan to do for him in that regard would do something for his family that would make it easier. But that agreement between him and I really shouldn't have anything to do with anything but him or I.
The idea that Kevin may have sought out a stranger on the internet to help him end his life is almost unimaginable. But there was a possibility. In an interview she later did with a media outlet, Kevin's roommate said that after watching the hanging scene in the movie A Star is Born, Kevin was, quote, out of it. The next day he overdosed on pills and had to have his stomach pumped. Did these ideations lead him to ask for Mark's help? To find out, police need to hear the story right from the beginning.
When did he come to your house? I picked him up. We physically met in Swartz Creek. And that was when because he had given me details of what he wanted. And so I said, well, I'll tell you what. I will bring all of the things that you would need so that you can see them. I said, I will lay them out in front of you. I said, then I'll step back. I said, you need to decide. You need to decide because I'm not going to force you.
Mark describes that Kevin decided to change his clothes in the Family Dollar parking lot and insists everything was entirely under Kevin's control.
What he wants is what he wants is what he wants. But at that point, I said, you know what? I'm not going to put these on you. I said, take what you have, take it off, put it in the bag. And he says, you know what? Can I text a friend and say, you know what? I'm just gonna be out, and whatever we blabbered about. And I say blabbered just because I said, you know what? You say whatever you want to say. And he says, okay, now that I've said it, I'm gonna turn my phone off.
The detectives now wonder if Kevin really knew what he was in for that night. Or is this Mark's clever attempt to paint the reality of this obscene situation in a more favorable light?
That's crazy.
And I said, look, this way you're leaving everything behind, and it's like, done. And at that point he says, okay, I'm ready. I went around and I shut the trunk, and then I put, he gave me the key so that I could lock the car. I put his bag in the back. I locked the car.
You locked his vehicle?
I locked his vehicle.
So his stuff is in his vehicle.
His stuff was in his vehicle.
And then does he stay in the back of your van?
And he stayed in the back of my van.
Okay, and then you leave the parking lot.
And then I left the parking lot.
Okay.
And then we went back to the house.
I've been on Shopify since the very beginning. There's a bunch of amazing.
Sorry, guys, skip those ads. Right now, I'm just working on the shoes. Look at it. Looking right.
Early Bazaar is thoroughly detailed. This is why it's perhaps a bit surprising when the detectives stump him with what should be an easy follow-up question.
Do you know what you did with the keys for the car?
The keys were... See, he had the keys at first. He gave them to me.
What's just a minor detail? I'm just curious.
I don't know.
But that was definitely weird.
In any case, we went back to the house.
Though Mark can't quite remember what became of Kevin's car keys, He can remember what happened when they returned to his house. And though many of those explicit details have been redacted from the interrogation video, enough remains to get a sense of their evening, or at least Mark's account of it.
You go to the house, there's activity that occurs in the kitchen and then downstairs. And then...
Yeah, I mean, there's as far as I would consider it, the scene started, when he said, yes, I'm in, let's start this.
Blindfold off.
Blindfold on, blindfold off, change positions. The purpose of vlogging, right?
Don't know the purpose of it, but...
Okay, well, what it does is it activates the blood vessels in the skin so that the sensations of touch and feel are heightened because the nerves are activated. So like that. So it was through an entire, each of the different movements that went through a different scenario.
Mark's description here directly references an area in his basement that investigators have seen and photographed. Characterized by boards in the shape of an X, the area stands in front of the strange dirt pit in the middle of the floor. This ominous area was apparently one of the last things Kevin saw before he died, and now the detectives want to know how that came to be.
So then, exactly how did Kevin say, what led to Kevin's death? He was telling you specifically what?
Well, I mean, it was a fairly long conversation. It's difficult.
So yeah, so he's telling you previously, and then what you're saying is he asked you to do that for him.
Okay. Yes. He was talking about how undignified, how horrible sometimes we let people die in that way. How they drag out. He actually came to tears, and we've talked about several things. What was I going to do? And part of it was the process of turning them into something that would grow tulips for his family. He says, but my family will never know that it's me. I says, no. Tulips are starvation food. They'll know that they'll have tulips. Do you want them to know that that's something that you're giving them? And he says, no, it's not something that I want them to know. Is this something that you want them to know? And he says, no.
As outlandish as Kevin's plans for his remains may sound, this is far from the first weird detail that Mark has shared today. Indeed, in talking to Jamie, the man Mark married shortly after divorcing his wife, they realize that strange statements have become a big part of who their suspect is.
Are you guys still in a relationship at this
No,
point?
well, we're still legally married,
Yeah.
but we're separated. I mean, I got out of there because he was starting to just say a lot of very unusual things that just didn't make sense. And then he started just within this last year that the neighbor was contaminating our well. And I was like, why would he do that? It didn't make any sense to me that our neighbor would start contaminating our well. But he said, well, they are. You can't drink it. You can't bathe it. I'd wake up and he'd be over me saying that I was a gray, green-eyed tribe leader and that when the world turned upside down that my people were going to need me to lead them again and that he was somehow the leader of the North. And I was oozing black toxins. He took me to Dr. Gomez to tell the doctor that I was secreting this toxin when I was sleeping.
And that was all brand new since the end of summer, beginning of fall.
And that was since his being fired in February from his job.
Jamie may pinpoint the beginning of Mark's mental decline to this year, but others say it goes back quite a bit further.
He had a lot of, he believed people were watching him and all those, but believed that my brother and I poisoned as well. Because my brother's a plumber and he did all of the work on the house for the plumbing. And so, but other than that, he was never a danger to himself or others that I believed. I got him to go in again, and then he came back out, and he was in the basement the second time. So yes, he was hospitalized before I moved out the second time, because he had medication that he filled again, but he wasn't taking it because I was counting them to make sure he was taking it. And I discovered that he wasn't taking it.
When he was hospitalized the second time, was it at the same facility?
Yes. And I believe that was the time he was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia.
And that would have been maybe in 2012?
Yes.
But a history of mental illness did not necessarily mean that Mark's story is a fantasy of his own concoction. Perhaps it only helps explain why he thought that it made sense to provide Kevin with this kind of assistance in the first place.
I've never done this before. I've never done this before.
Okay, so what did you do?
Well, after talking to him in multiple ways, that was when I says, well, I could slit your throat. Here's the knife. I could do it that way, and I couldn't do it. I says, I don't know if that would be painless. And we debated it, all of the different ways. I said, I have a sword upstairs, but it wouldn't work. I was afraid I would hurt him. I'm not ready. I couldn't do that. I couldn't run the risk of maiming him and having him suffer.
Ultimately, Mark says he decided that a knife would produce the quickest, cleanest result.
Where's the knife now? It is upstairs in, because I cleaned it off, and it is upstairs in the dresser drawer. I think on the right-hand side, top.
Is it a bedroom? Someone's bedroom or your bedroom?
Yes.
The police find the knife, as well as a receipt from Walmart. They go out to the store, where they photograph a knife in the display rack that matches the look and price of the one in Mark's possession. Furthermore, they obtain surveillance video from the store that shows Mark purchasing the weapon that would end Kevin Bacon's life. The knife will surely prove to be valuable evidence in this investigation, but the central question remains, is it a murder weapon? Or is it merely the tool with which Mark ended Kevin's suffering on his request?
It's like, this is what it is. And he looked at it. We laid together for a while. He asked me to. I did.
I'm sorry, asked you to do what? Just lay with him?
Just lay with him. Just lay with him and hold him. And finally, he says, you know what? I'm ready. I'm on the back side because he's laying on the floor and it would be across the room, and he had his head facing it would be the east wall. And so when I went in, you obviously have on the picture there's the spray that went to the west. There was a fair amount of blood, and I went, I don't want him to suffer. No, and I went, I can see that. And that was, and then of course it was a matter of doing what I needed to do to complete what I told him I would do. Turn him into something that would produce life.
It soon becomes clear that no matter what the reality of the situation might have been in Mark's house on Christmas Eve, he means to emphasize to the detectives that his greatest concern was minimizing Kevin's suffering.
I need to make sure that this is quick and not drawn out. Okay. And so it was then that it's like, okay, let's get this so that he's quicker. I was trying to speed it up at that point because he was already unconscious.
Okay.
But I could tell, because, I mean, you could tell he was, in any case, it was the realization of this wasn't enough.
Shoot my shot like, hey, hit the red dot like, hey, finger on the trigger like.
These damn ads. We're almost done, Momo. Yeah, we keep going a little bit. They'll do a cleanup, fix it up, and I'll draw more characters in there.
That once he realized that even a direct stab wound to the base of the neck would not be enough to finish the job, he took further measures to ensure Kevin's quick demise.
I saw that it was going longer, and I took his head and I moved it to the side and this way. So it was as much as I could in order to, whatever it was, it at least initiated another gash that was there wasn't the spray like there was the first time, so it was at least more effective.
Mark's description of the stab wound and the subsequent slitting of Kevin's throat matches what investigators have seen at the crime scene. But while it provides one possible explanation of how Kevin's death came to be, that's all it is at this point. And there are other aspects of Kevin's observable injuries that, sickening as they are, have yet to be addressed. Mark will eventually speak to those as well, but first, he takes the police through the next stage of this morbid evening.
I stayed with them for quite a while. I mean, that was very important. And I says, you will not die alone. I says, I won't.
That, to me, as an outsider looking in, that shows me the type of person you are.
I said, I won't do that.
Absolutely.
I says,
you're a man of your word.
Regardless of what it is, I won't let you die alone.
Yeah.
And
that's very stand-up of you. I mean, not a lot of people would do that.
It wasn't easy. Once he was clearly deceased, then I was like, okay, let's get him up as much as I could, so that one, what blood there was that was in the sand could go out into the flower bed.
Sure. When you strung him or pulled him so he's suspended, the purpose was so the blood would go into the ground.
Right, so the blood would go into the ground and then would be contained rather than, because by that time he was already unconscious and it was just a matter of saying it's done. So it was the after portion of cleaning him up. What I didn't get to yet was to wash him up, clean him up. And, I started to pull the sand out that was there to start to clean it up. But, it was a matter of, it takes a little bit of time to, depending if you ever processed the deer.
Sure. Let the blood drain out.
It's the same process.
As shocking as it may be to calmly compare the killing of a human being to the cleaning of a game animal, it's clear by now that Mark feels no remorse or regret about what he's done. On the contrary, he appears to view it as an act of kindness and mercy. Indeed, he didn't even keep it a secret.
And even when I was talking to him, I don't feel that I did anything wrong.
Did you tell anybody else about this, other than us?
I did, because part of my culture is that if you have an honorable death, then you have to tell somebody before you pass 3 houses. I did have to tell someone, and even when I talked to him, he says, just call me Kevin Bacon. And I went, okay. I said, if I say that I killed Kevin Bacon, he says, no one's going to believe you. I says, I could tell anybody, and no one would believe me. Because of my name. I actually texted before I ever did anything, I went up and I texted a friend who was, and I'm going to say, what's the correct word? Understanding of the situation, because he's a judge advocate in New York, and I sent him a text and I said, you know what, I did this. I says, and I love him. He's my hero. And
I'm sorry, who's your hero?
I killed Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon is my hero.
It is yet another twist in this grim saga. Mark uses his victim's coincidentally famous name to confess without any fear of repercussions. Indeed, when police finally speak to Mark's friend in New York, he tells them that he hardly gave the unusual text a second thought. After all, such a murder would be headline news all over the world. Is this kind of slyness consistent with the story Mark is telling detectives? Perhaps that question is in the back of their minds as Mark describes how he proceeded in the hours ahead.
I was covered in a little, not covered, but it's like I had some on me, and I looked at it, and it's like I had done what I needed to do, and I could wash this off. Nope, I'm not going to. And at that point, I went upstairs and I crawled into bed, and I just left it.
In a bone-chilling admission, Mark reveals that not only did he refuse to wash Kevin's blood off himself before going to bed, he kept it on even the next day when he went to his husband's house for a Christmas Day gathering.
I got up and it was middle of the afternoon when I was supposed to go over and meet the other guys on the 25th. And I looked at it and I went, you know what? I'm not. And I left it right on. And I put on what clothing I had. And I went, I'm not going to wash them off.
Before Black Friday drops, spin your passion into a business with Shopify and break holiday sales records.
With the blood of their son on his body.
And then people started showing up. Don't know exact times because I was busy, but I want to say sometime in the afternoon, like around 12-ish. Mark didn't get there until after everybody else had, and again,
So Mark was the last one to get there.
Mark was the last one to get there.
About what time do you think that was?
Again, I don't know for sure, but I'm going to say around 1, 2 o'clock.
According to their interviews with other attendees, no one noticed anything out of the ordinary as it pertained to Mark. But the police aren't just interested in the gathering. They're interested specifically in Jamie, whose interactions with Mark continued after that day. Jamie explains that he and Mark went to the gym together on either Thursday, the day after Christmas, or Friday, which would have been only a matter of hours before police showed up at Mark's door. He says that even though he drove Mark home that night, he didn't enter the house and thus had no way of knowing what was hanging from the ceiling of Mark's basement. Under normal circumstances, Jamie might have been able to check his text messages to better frame this timeline. But that is, unfortunately, and perhaps for police, not possible.
I was going through the messages, reading them over, seeing what what was in them, so I could just see if I missed something somewhere and then I went to, hold the phone, and next thing you know, they're all deleted because somehow I had touched these phones. I swear to God, they're so sensitive. Touched something to make it go to the delete all, which I never meant to do.
The matter of these deleted texts is not a possibility for police, as they can typically recover all deleted messages. For now, however, they listen to Jamie and others tell them that, for all of his eccentricities, killing a man seems wildly out of character for Mark.
I never thought he would ever be capable of anything like this.
I don't know. I don't know. This is not his personality. I can't see Mark hurting a thing. I just don't see it. I've never seen him bone in his body.
There was nothing that ever would have said he would do anything like this.
Does their disturbed and confused position on Mark's actions only strengthen his story, that he was doing an honorable favor for a man in need?
Have you ever been requested in the past to do something that you did to Kevin, where they were down or they wanted to end their life? Have you ever assisted?
No, there have been people who have hinted at it.
Okay.
There have been people who, just kind of play around with it a little bit. But I've always, I've shied away from it for obvious reasons.
Have you taken the life of anybody else? I'm speaking
to my knowledge, no.
Okay. What do you mean to your knowledge?
No, I have not taken anybody. I'm telling you.
Okay, this is crazy.
Is the first time is the first time I've ever done anything like this.
But for as much as the detectives may want to believe that, there are reasons to think otherwise. Starting with the incident from November where a panicked man in a kilt was running in fear from his home. But even that was not an isolated occurrence, as police soon found out. Looking through their own reports, they see a call a man made in October, not far from where Mark lives. The man says he was picked up from the Greyhound terminal in Flint by an unknown individual that he intended to spend the night with. However, that night he woke up restrained in the basement of the man's house. Terrified, he used a nearby knife to cut himself free before fleeing the house in a state of panic. When he got far enough away, he called police. But the strange thing about this incident, as police will only learn in the aftermath of Kevin's death, is that the man from the October report is actually the same New York friend that Mark sent that cryptic text to on Christmas Eve. I killed Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon is my hero. On December 30th, 2 days after the initial interrogation, police questioned Mark about this incident.
This particular time that he was at the house, though, when he was out running away, he claims running away from you because he was scared.
Oh, he says that?
Yeah.
He didn't tell me that.
No.
But
was there a time where you had him held against his will at any point?
No, he had free.
Was the mercy killing that Mark is making it out to be. Further complicating the situation is a text Mark sent to his husband Jamie in the early morning hours on December 25th. A message about bringing Bacon over for the gathering, but warning, it's not the kind you like.
It's an original six. Battle in the six. Blackhawks. Did you see that? Maple Leafs. It's on. Tonight at 7:30. Prime Monday Night Hockey. It's on Monday. It's only on Prime.
I wish I mentioned something about coming over for breakfast, and then he said, like what you told me, that about the bacon, and yes, I do remember, it seemed like there was something said in a text message about bacon, and you wouldn't like it, and that's really all.
Did you respond to that?
Not that I remember.
Besides, I know there's some conversations, about the bacon thing, and of course the victim's name is Kevin Bacon. That would upset me, seeing something like that. Is that how you kind of take it now?
No, not until you just mentioned it. I never even put the two together.
Okay. Did you know the victim's name was Kevin? You had to.
I
We talked
knew
about it in the interview.
after the interview, yes. But I didn't even think, like the text messages when you said about the bacon, it's like, and I never put bacon and bacon as.
The fact that Jamie accidentally deleted all of his messages with Mark makes pinpointing the specifics of the conversation more difficult, but not, as Jamie seems to understand, impossible.
But I knew that there's no way, from what I've been told, with computers, which an iPhone is nothing more than a computer, you can never delete everything. Nothing is permanently deleted.
Indeed, it isn't long before the police get a first-hand look at the message Mark sent to Jamie that night. It says, among other things, "I had bacon for dinner last night." The word bacon is capitalized. It's an extraordinarily suspicious message, considering Mark's insistence that this killing was done with solemnity and the utmost respect for human dignity. But that suspicion can only turn into abject horror when one realizes fully what Mark did after killing Kevin that night, and what he had planned for the days ahead.
And it was then that I started to do what I told him I was going to do. I was going to eat part of him. And I did. It was the new moon. And honoring my word to what I said I would do.
Mark's word in this instance extended to castrating the now deceased Kevin Bacon.
Was that his wishes? Is that the main reason why you did it?
It was the discussion, like wherever, whatever is consumable is consumable. So I will eat you, and he says, okay.
How did you do that? Did you cook them? Did you? Where did you do that? I mean,
on the kitchen stove.
Like with a frying pan.
It was the griddle, I eat Rocky Mountain oysters anyway.
Sure.
I have a carton of them that I had bought, and so it's really very simple. You slice them thin. You saute them with some Worcestershire sauce. And once they're done, you just eat them.
Mark describes this part of the evening's activities with the same chilling calm that he described the rest of it. And it turns out that this late-night snack was only the beginning of his deranged intentions.
The other portions were going to be a jerky and the like. I mean, I didn't know that at the time, and so afterwards, and in fact, yesterday, maybe it was, depends on what day it is now.
It is now Saturday morning.
But I just ordered a dehydrator so that, I said not knowing, just so that I could continue to process the way and do what he wanted me to do.
So you would have taken more of his body and put it in the dehydrator?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
A couple of days later, the police intercept a package from Amazon that was headed for Mark's address. Inside, they indeed find a Magic Mill food dehydrator. But that's only one aspect of the comprehensive plans he made for Kevin's remains.
His internals were going to go out back, and I was going to put the peach pits in them. And then the rest of them, I have the chestnut that are in the refrigerator, and I had been meaning to plant them before, but really never had anything that to grow them with. I was going to drop the chestnuts into a portion of them. There's a pile of mulch out back. I was just going to cover them with mulch.
You're going to cover the bones with mulch?
No, not the bones. I was just going to take the internal gut portions and get rid of it. So that they were each growing things. The muscle portion was going to go into the dehydrator that I purchased after yesterday, or it's going to be delivered on Monday, because that was, that came out of the discussion. So I didn't have anything, planned for it at that point. And then I was just going to, crush up the bones in the bone meal.
School, I gotta
and
go.
then see if, see what?
Alright, have a good one.
No, bring them up in the bone meal, and take the bone meal and pair them with tulip bulbs, and figure out some way to, just have them appear somewhere.
To the very end, Mark sticks to his original story, that this was a benevolent act meant only to fulfill Kevin's own wishes.
Already.
But that story has some holes, starting with those earlier incidents where men he held captive had to escape and call the police.
He never asked to leave, and you had him chained up in the basement? Well,
there's also the matter of the trip to Walmart Mark made to purchase the knife. This wasn't a purchase made 6 months ago, or even 6 weeks ago. Mark bought that knife on Christmas Eve, only a few short hours before he plunged it into the back of Kevin's neck. But perhaps most damning is the fact that police have the chat between Mark and Kevin from the dating app. And while Mark goes into a great deal of explicit detail regarding the plans he has, neither he nor Kevin mention anything about the night ending in Kevin's demise.
You guys find a Mark Latomsky out there with black hair and black eyes and is a cripple? I want to know where he is.
But that's not going to be the main priority of the police or the prosecutors. They arrest Mark David Latunsky for 1 count of open murder and 1 count of disinterment and mutilation of a dead body. As for Mark's estranged husband, Jamie, the police asked him to take a polygraph test and concluded that he had nothing whatsoever to do with the crime.
And again, I'll just ask you again, you had nothing to do with this. You had no knowledge of Kevin being at the house, Kevin Bacon, what he never told you what he did to him, nothing.
No, I think this is awful. I think
What would you have done had you been told or made aware of this prior to?
If I had known what had happened, I would have come to police.
In September of 2022, roughly 3 years after his arrest, Mark Latunsky pleaded guilty to murder and the mutilation of a dead body. Following a trial in December 2022, Mark was sentenced to life without parole for 1 count of first-degree murder and 11 months for 1 count of disinterment of a dead body. Mark is currently serving the sentence at Gus Harrison Correctional Facility in Michigan.
That is crazy. Alright, we're just gonna finish up this drawing here.
911.
Well, rough color sketch.
Hello?
I'm gonna end the stream. I gotta go soon.
What's your name? My name is Denise. I'm your beautiful husband, and I just want to see my kids again. Please, God, please protect me.
An Oceanside community becomes the site for a massive search and rescue operation when a 21-year-old woman vanishes from her home in the middle of the day, leaving her 2 young children behind. But police won't learn the savage truth about her disappearance until they get it from the most unlikely source. A desperate 911 call the young mother makes from her captor's cell phone.
Can you see, or do you have a blindfold on? I can't see. Mommy.
Now, in a shocking case that would leave a lasting impact on Florida law, police must fight through a sea of deception to bring her home before it's too late.
Are you gonna help me? Are you gonna let me out now? Oh, please. Don't. I lost him. Chris, I lost her. The guy grabbed the phone from her.
It's January 17th, 2008, and Nathan Lee is on his way home from work He hasn't had many chances to call home that day. Just a couple of brief calls with his 21-year-old wife, Denise, who is caring for Noah, their 2-year-old, and Adam, their 6-month-old infant. Last he heard, she was giving the boys haircuts on the back porch, but he hasn't talked to her in 3 or 4 hours. He calls again, debating whether to stop for groceries on his way home. But when Denise doesn't answer, anxiety creeps in. After 2 more calls go unanswered, his confusion turns to worry. Perhaps she took the kids to the park or went to the store herself, but it was odd of her to not carry her phone. With his worry turning slowly to fear, Nathan arrives home at approximately 3:30 in the afternoon. Denise's Toyota is in the driveway. That's a good sign. When he goes up to the front door, he tries the handle. It's locked. Another good sign. Everything seems to be normal. It's not until he unlocks the door and steps inside that he begins to see signs of trouble. Denise's cell phone is right by the door, plugged into the charger. It shows 7 missed calls, most of which Nathan himself made on the way home. Strangely, the windows are shut, even though Denise told him that morning that she was opening them for the cool January air. With every step he takes, he calls out to Denise, thinking that she's perhaps in the shower or otherwise occupied, but there's no answer. The most distressing sign of all, though, is his children. Adam and Noah are in Adam's crib together, something that Denise does not allow. Both of them need their diapers changed. He cleans them up, his mind racing to figure out where Denise could be. It's unthinkable that she would have left their children alone in the house, and besides, her purse, her keys, and her phone are all right here. He calls Denise's father, Rick, but he hasn't seen her. Alarmed at the news that his daughter is suddenly missing, he promises Nathan that he'll be right over. In the meantime, Nathan's fear has coalesced into panic, and he can wait no longer. He calls 911.
Northport Emergency?
Yes, I'm at, I just got home from work, and my wife, I can't find her. My kids were in the house, and I don't know where she is. I've looked every single place, and I don't know.
Your kids are at home by themselves?
Yes. No, I know. I don't know where mommy is.
She's never done this before?
No. I don't know. I mean, I've been home almost 10 minutes now. I haven't seen her.
All right, Nathan, I have an officer en route for you. If she does return home by the time we get their calls back, let us know, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
But unfortunately, Denise does not suddenly appear. Someone does arrive at the house, however. It's Denise's father, Rick, a sergeant with the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office. But while his proximity to this mystery may have a subtle effect on the attention it receives from law enforcement, this isn't his jurisdiction. Northport is in Sarasota County, so all Rick can do is make suggestions to the responding police, as he later explains to detectives.
I go, can I please get my helicopter, my dog? And she goes, well, we're not at that stage or something because we don't even know what she was wearing or anything like that. And I go, well, I really don't care what she's wearing or not. If there's a girl or something laying in one of the woods, we'll be glad to stop and check, even if it ain't her. You know, it doesn't matter. I just want to get the helicopter up. We're not there yet. And I go, can we please, has anybody talked to the neighbor? And she goes, no. And we haven't talked. And I go, can we, well, we're not there yet. And I'm going, okay. And that kind of made me mad.
The responding officers may not have much interest in speaking to the neighbors quite yet, but Denise's husband Nathan heads next door.
I knocked on the door, and the boy answered that was there, and I asked him if he'd seen my wife, and he said no. He said, your wife? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I don't know where she is. He's like, I haven't seen her. I didn't know there was anybody else in the house. I guess that girl that was the witness, she was home then, but she didn't say anything.
Police eventually do talk to this girl. She reveals that she did indeed see something that afternoon, and what she tells them adds a horrifying new dimension to this already disturbing situation. Here she recounts that afternoon with investigators.
I was sitting in my living room, and a green Camaro kept driving by my house, so I went outside, and he pulled into the neighbor's driveway. I made eye contact with him. He seemed normal, so I mean, I wasn't too suspicious about it. I just figured he was lost. I saw him. He had light hair, was tall. It was anywhere between like 1:30 and 2:30. So I would probably say around 2 o'clock. I was just sitting here watching TV, and he drove by probably, I'd say at least 4 times, just driving like creeping back and forth very slow.
The new information is distressing, and Nathan can't help but begin to wonder about the factors that might have led someone to target his wife.
Something that always made me nervous, and I couldn't get mad at her for it, but I know she generally walked around the house in a shirt, just a shirt and underwear, and she didn't necessarily have all the blinds shut all the time. I'm just remember a couple times just going, the blinds are open, and she was like, she always say nobody can see, because our house is obviously secluded.
Denise's father has his own theory, not far removed from Nathan's.
She was on the back porch cutting Noah's hair. And the back porch, what I'm talking is you go out these 2 sliders, and it's just like a little screened-in enclosure, about not much big, maybe a little longer than this, but about this wide. And that street's a circle, and if you're coming from the back street, you can see the little high chair that you're sitting in.
That's all wide open.
All wide open. And in my mind, he's eager.
The mere idea that a stranger in a green Camaro might have spotted Denise from the road is eerie and sickeningly random. Then again, maybe it wasn't exactly a stranger. Nathan tells his father-in-law something that could give police their first solid lead.
He goes, the guy that works will drive the green Camaro. He goes, I think we found the green Camaro. He goes, and we ran him, and he lives somewhere in Norfolk, and check him out and all this stuff. And then maybe a little smartass, I guess. I go, did you ask my son-in-law Nate if the guy that works for him ever been to his house, seen his house, know where he lives, or anything? That's a good question.
Police speak to Nathan's co-worker, but his car is a much older body style than the one reported by the neighbor. This particular individual appears to be a dead end, but police issue a be-on-the-lookout alert for the car in question, and the multi-agency search team finally has something solid to look for.
Look for a light-colored green Camaro, too. Light-colored green Camaro. We know approximate year, owner, new model.
And it's going to be actually a darker green Camaro, and it's going to be probably an early 2000s, late 90s model.
Wayfair's Black Friday Savings Spectacular is on now. Plus, get fast and free shipping on everything.
Even with police beginning to swarm the streets and helicopters taking flight, it won't be easy to find a single green Camaro in the area. And unfortunately, it's been at least 2 hours since the car was spotted in the Lee driveway. With I-75 running straight through Northport, there's no sure way to know if the Camaro is still in the area or if it even is connected to Denise's disappearance. Back at the house, Nathan and his father-in-law are getting anxious.
And I go, listen, guys, get out there, stop every friggin' green Camaro you see out there. Ralph's still standing there. I go, Ralph, what are you doing? I was told to stay with you. I go, you get your fucking ass out on that goddamn road. I don't give a shit. You stop every goddamn green Camaro.
Police are combing the streets, but nothing comes of the early search for Denise. It's as if she vanished from the face of the earth without the slightest trace. The police need something more to go on, and at 6:14 that evening, they get it in the form of one of the most chilling 911 calls imaginable.
911.
Hello?
What is that? I'm sorry. I just want to see my family.
Hello?
I want to see my family again, please.
Hello? Hello?
Please, I just want to see my family again. Let me go. Please let me go. Please let me go. I just want to see my family again. Okay.
Hello?
The woman on the other end of the line is frantic and desperate. That much is clear from the sound of her voice, but she's not immediately responsive to the operator's questions, which makes communication difficult.
What is the address that you're at? Hello, ma'am?
Where are we going? I gotta go up and around now. Up and around where? Can you see that? Exactly right. 4 streets, 5 streets over from your house. I couldn't get around.
What's your name, ma'am? Hello?
Please.
What's your name?
My name is Denise. I met your beautiful husband, and I just want to see my kids again.
Your name's Denise. What's your last name?
Against all odds, it seems that Denise has somehow managed to call 911 without letting her captor know that she's on the phone. Now she's tasked with not only getting vital information to the operator, but do so without alerting him to her call. The operator begins to catch on to the dangerous game being played on the other end. But if the voice in the background belongs to Denise's kidnapper, he too appears to realize that something is amiss.
So I'm thinking too that he doesn't know.
Please, God, please protect me.
Are you on I-75?
Where are we? I don't know. Please. Please.
Where are you at? Can you tell if you're on I-75?
I don't know where your phone is. I'm sorry.
Denise, do you know this guy? She might have the phone laid down and not hear a thing I'm saying, too. He keeps saying about the phone.
I don't know where it is. Maybe if I could see it, help me find it.
What's your address? What's your home address, do you know?
I don't know. Please take me to my house. Please take me home. I'm okay, please.
Can you see, or do you have a blindfold on?
I can't see. Where are we?
Can they turn off the radio or turn it down?
I can't hear you. It's too loud. Where are we? Are you gonna help me? Are you gonna let me out now? Help me.
Don't. I lost them. Chris, I lost her. The guy grabbed the phone from her.
The call ends abruptly, but the police spring into action, gathering every detail they can, even as its grim implications bear down on the family. Police know it's a powerful lead.
Next time we hear something on the radio about a 911 call. And I go, 911 call? Yeah, it's from your daughter or something like this, or someone calling in, 911, saying she's been kidnapped. And name's Denise Fleetman. I go, holy shit. Now it's the worst nightmare coming true.
Even before police can trace the owner of the cell phone, another 911 call comes in. It's from a girl named Sabrina, and she has bizarre information that adds even more urgency to the situation.
So what's the problem?
I just got a call from my dad, and his cousin came over his house with a girl in the car, and she was tied up. And the girl came got out of the car, and my dad's cousin went and put her back in the car. And when she got out,
Okay, where's your dad's house?
It's in Northport.
Do you know the address of it?
He wants to be anonymous. His cousin left.
Okay, what's the cousin driving?
A green Camaro.
Where would he be going with this female?
He came over to my dad's house, borrowed a shovel, a gas tank, and something else.
The operator ultimately gets a street name from the girl and finishes the call with a crucial question.
All right, what's the cousin's name?
His name is Gary King.
Gary?
King, yeah. Oh, it's not Gary King, it's Mikey King.
Michael King?
Yeah.
Okay.
Police now have a name to put with Denise's kidnapper. Not only is 36-year-old Michael King the registered owner of a 1994 dark green Chevy Camaro, he's also the owner of the phone Denise called 911 from. Investigators rush to his address.
Yeah, there is a TV on in the house and sounds like voices inside the residence. Have you got the vehicle there? Well, it could be in the garage. There's a new car garage and then a single car garage that's next to it, and there's no windows, so I can't tell. But it does sound like there's voices on in the house. The neighbor directly next to him advises she believes he's possibly home and does park his car in the garage. He does still drive the Camaro and does still reside in Sardinia, and to her knowledge, he is home.
Police knock repeatedly on Michael's door, but no one answers. Knowing that too much time has been wasted already, a Northport police sergeant gives his men the go-ahead.
I want entry made on that house.
10-4, the two marked officers at the front make entry. The two uniformed officers make entry.
Police force their way into the home of the man they now strongly suspect kidnapped Denise in broad daylight. Inside, though, they find a house that's not only empty of occupants, but of almost any furnishings whatsoever. Even so, someone has been here. The television is blaring, and so is a small radio. In the master bedroom, the police uncover a disturbing scene. A long piece of cloth is carelessly tacked over the window, perhaps to isolate the victim. As a rumpled Winnie the Pooh blanket lies on the floor, what officers discover next to this dismal makeshift bed is truly horrific.
Would you have duct tape wadded up in a bedroom with long strands that look like light brown hair?
In the kitchen trash, they uncover another matching wad of tape with similar strands of a woman's hair attached to it. The evidence clearly indicates that something troubling happened in this house today.
If you're real comfortable that there's nobody in that house, go ahead and clear out and secure. 10-4. Everybody's cleared.
The discovery of this terrifying dungeon makes it all the more apparent that police are facing an extreme emergency. If this man, Michael King, is willing to kidnap a woman out of her own home, right in front of her 2 kids, bind her, and bring her back to his lair of darkness, he is a man capable of unimaginable evil. At this point, finding Denise and returning her to safety is more urgent than ever. Finally, at a little past 9 o'clock that night, a Florida highway patrolman sees approaching headlights on one of Northport's main highways. Trooper Pope knows his vehicles, and those headlights have a distinctive shape. He stomps the gas and gets behind the vehicle, which immediately gets on I-75 going south. The orange street lights make it difficult to determine the color of the vehicle, but it's definitely a mid-90s Camaro.
Northport units, FHP has a vehicle
That
stopped
is
at 178 southbound, 178 southbound. Tag is verified by FHP.
It's him, Michael King. This day's agonizing manhunt has finally come to an end. The only question now, will Michael surrender and give up his victim, or will he engage in a final violent standoff with police? Trooper Pope is ready for either scenario. Michael has had this innocent woman in his clutches since at least 2:30 this afternoon, but his reign of terror has come to an end. Trooper
That
Pope
is
can't see a
crazy.
passenger, but it's dark and he's positioned well back from the Camaro. Denise could be tied up prone in the back seat or even in the trunk. His gun drawn on the suspect, Pope orders Michael out of the car, but the order falls on deaf ears. When Michael continues to disregard Pope's commands, he finally threatens to shoot at the vehicle. Following this threat, Michael finally steps out of the vehicle and is immediately placed under arrest, but he has chilling news to deliver. Pope observes that Michael claims to be a victim of a devious kidnapping. However, the evidence found on Michael and his vehicle reveal another story. Michael's jeans are wet from the waist down. His shoes are wet and caked with mud. In the car is a wet shovel, dirty with the same fresh mud. But worse than what he sees is what he doesn't see. There's no sign of Denise.
Units responding to the interstate. Michael King is 1012. The female is not 1012 with the vehicle.
With Denise still missing, Pope is in no mood to play nice. Michael once again claims to be a victim as Pope continues to badger him for Denise's location before putting him in the car. It's a bittersweet end to the manhunt. Michael King is in custody, but the whereabouts of Denise Amber Lee remain unknown. Northport police detectives arrive on the scene, and Michael insists once more that he is a victim. Just like Denise, I was hijacked, he tells them. He clearly knows exactly why police pulled him over and what they suspect, but he is committed to a very unlikely version of the story. The frustrated detectives decide to play along for a short while. They ask Michael to lead them to the places he and the girl were taken by their mysterious abductor. And though Michael says that he was blindfolded for much of the time, he agrees to take them to a couple of isolated wooded areas where he believes they may have been during this wild ordeal. Unsurprisingly, a search of these locations yields no discoveries, much less the finding of Denise Lee. They take him back to the station for questioning, but it becomes quickly apparent that he has nothing of value to share.
At one point, did you tell that trooper, you say that you wanted a lawyer?
All the way through.
All the way through?
As soon as they put me on the ground.
That one trooper?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All of them, actually. I was telling every one of them.
Okay. And at one point, when you saw me, when you saw me, you told me that you come out to me and said you were the hostage. You were a victim, you were a hostage.
Did I tell you what now?
Do you recall that?
I told somebody.
You told me that you were a hostage and that you were a victim. So you started the conversation with me, and when we finally figured out that you were saying that you were
you know, a victim as well.
Right.
You understand that? Okay. So that
All right. I'm going to end here for today. Then I'll come back and clean up and add more characters and whatnot. But yeah, this is Momo when she does that thing in episode 9 of Dandadan. Alright, hope you guys have a good one. I am Giovanni Hall Art, and I'll see you guys on the next stream. Links in the bio, like we see. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, Tumblr, TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Patreon for more. Alright, you guys have a good one. Bye.